Governor Tony Evers and the Wisconsin DNR have announced more than $400 million of investments to improve wastewater infrastructure for Wisconsinites in 82 different municipalities. That money will be used to help with infrastructure projects, including those that decrease phosphorus discharges and address aging equipment. One of those municipalities to receive money is the city of Portage. They will be getting more than $55 million. More than $2 million is principal forgiveness, and the rest of that money will be given to the city as a loan with a subsidized interest rate. State officials say the city will use this funding to enhance the wastewater treatment plan there.